We're good.
All right, great. So the purpose of a process and a pipeline meeting is to do just that. So we're going to go and review the current pipeline when we were talking about all the opportunities that we've created. So we talked about, like, when we were going over Salesforce 101, sort of the basics of like how to create a new account, how to create a new contact, like what all those fields mean, how they're relevant to Mixmax. And we spent a lot of time talking about the opportunity phase. The opportunity phase, we defined it into various stages. We broke it down, and while we can adjust it as we sort of go through our process, but they basically kind of break down into like 4 or 5 different stages. And so what we do in a pipeline opportunity review meeting is do exactly that. It's taking a look and seeing like what's booked, what's in process of getting booked, if anybody has any sort of stalled out opportunities that they're working on, they want help with or advice on, that kind of thing. And then what we're going to flip over to is the process piece, which is talking about things like, okay, cool. So we're going to be hitting up LA and San Jose next week, right? And so we're going to go over like the high level strategy of what that's going to entail, like from like, homework, like, create a Mixmax sequence, that starts to do this automated outreach that, varies slightly by, who's sending it. So, George is going to have a slightly different version than what Erica and Madeline send because they're not actually going to be there. What we're going to do in this, and kind of covers also the strategy as to why we do this. So we'll get to that in a minute. So it sounds like we had a ton of outreach go out. So I'll flip over to my screen here. And there we go. Sorry, I'm building these reports now. Hold on a second here. Well, let's save this for now. I'll do it later. That's fine. Okay, so get me out of here. Close. Great, cool. So I'm gonna be building a bunch of dashboards so that when you guys log in, you guys can just get a real quick sense of like, am I on track to hit my activities this week? Like, how many bookings do we have this week? So we can like, how many wow points have we generated this week? Students have we touched this week? Like so this is going to be like, hopefully a great motivator. So you can see like, as you're putting in the work, what's coming to fruition. So we're going to go to our workshop opportunities. And we're going to run this very basic opportunity pipeline report. And we got a bunch here. Look at this. Booking, booked. This is great. Awesome. Cool. So did everybody have a chance to kind of go in and update their records? Just nod yes or no, or yes, thumbs up, thumbs down. So what the point of having this meeting is also, it's a forcing function. So the forcing function is, that like you've got to put this in the Salesforce, because again, if you are paid based on activity level, and this is how we track that activity level, right? And so going through this, it's really important that we see like, because book meetings are a part of measuring that activity, that it's all here in Salesforce. So let's just start off, like we'll just go through the top here. Let's go with Madeline's Uplift Community High. So randomly take a look. Awesome, cool. So this all looks great. So just taking a high level look here, while we're going through this stuff, we have generally a big problem with data cleanliness. So it's really important that if you're already in the record, to do things like, scrub if you see any errors. So just so everybody's aware, and we'll make a note of this after this meeting, the school type defaults to public, and that's not the case for everybody. So make sure to double check that that's actually correct. The school shorthand name, this is basically like what we would call like a colloquial name. Like I went to Princeton High School, but nobody calls it Princeton High School. They all call it PHS, right? So that's where we would say like if you know what the acronym the school goes by, you would insert it here, so that when we send out future mailings, so for us to build trustworthiness, like to build those trustworthy emails, like we'll use the shorthand name so it looks and feels like we spent the time to really like understand the school that we're dealing with. Because it looks spammy if it's like, hi, Uplift Community High School. It just sounds like, it doesn't really roll off the tongue versus like, hey, I hear you're the guidance counselor at UCH or UC High or whatever it is. And so that's how like when we're doing our mass customization, it pulls from this field here. So just make a note of that. I'll send it in a recap. So this is like, do you have any next steps that are going on to this one?
No, she just purely interested in me saying she's interested,
Cool.
but that their school isn't in yet. So I'm going to go ahead and I was going to call her back, but I don't have her phone. So I was going to check the records and then either give her an email with my phone number or find her phone number and call her.
Cool. So there is a next steps kind of a place for all this. So it's like if we go into the workshop opportunity here.
Okay.
Oh, you got information. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Cool. And so you kind of ballpark the close date. You figure like sometime next week that she'll commit.
Yeah.
Cool. That's totally cool. And again, this is all kind of it's a little finger in the wind, you know. So once you start doing these, you'll get a better sense of how to predict a close date, and we'll get better at it. You know, that's kind of the point. That's also the big part of logging all this information is that when we have this, we can start to do the analysis of, okay, like how many days on average from our first email does it take to close or to book a workshop? And so we can then say, we can pass that knowledge around and everybody goes, oh, it takes about like 2 to 3 weeks. So we know that that's kind of within the ballpark when you're setting your close dates to get going. Some will be less, some will be more, but that's generally how we're getting that information through. Okay, cool. So type, let's just make sure new business is selected. There is no lost reason. Cool. Awesome. Great. 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 Awesome. Cool. So let's go back to workshop opportunities, opportunity pipeline. Great. Cool. Erica, School of Education, Social Services. So we'll go into this one here. Great. Assign file. Great. Confirm file. Oh, so this looks like you cloned one of the previous ones. Erica?
Oh, I didn't clone it, but yeah, I did copy and paste those notes.
Cool. So is she in the qualifying state where, okay, so you got her qualified and she's replied with some interest, or what's been the
Yeah, she wants to make sure that we have a full, because it's a student parent night, a lot of the parents want a real person, not a virtual workshop. So we have to make sure we get that real person first.
Got it. Cool. And we've got the close date, which is actually passed. So is this still?
Oh, I probably did like that same day.
Yeah. So the close date is like when you think this will be like, when you think you'll actually have, you know, when you think that she'll commit to booking. So she needs a little more information. So what do we think here? Like maybe probably mid next week or late next week?
Probably late next week.
All right, so let's just book her for Friday. But you have a workshop date here too, right? So did she say she wanted to do a workshop?
Yeah.
And she gave you this date?
Yes.
Awesome. That's great. Okay. So you're kind of in the proposing phase. Like if she said, I'm interested, here's a date, here's the student attendance. Like it sounds to me that she's sort of in the, like, it feels like she's in the market. So you're not really like qualifying her anymore. You're more like you're proposing, right?
Yeah.
So that's great, right? We've advanced it. That's awesome. So we go into the proposing phase. Cool. Save that. Great. Awesome. See account name. Great. Phenomenal. What's her name? Talisa Brown. School Education, Social Services. So we'll say, we'll want to make sure. I want to make sure that her email information or all her activity information here. See activity history, teacher visit. Let's see how that's going for you. All right, we won't worry about that now. All right, cool. So let's go to next. So Concordia. So now we got in the probability phase here for Concordia. Great. Tight. So Friday, cool, awesome. And she's in the proposing phase because did she move through the qualification phase where like you figured out that she was in the market? Like how do you justify putting it into the second phase?
Yeah. Which one? Can you read me the school?
Concordia. So we can go in.
Fine, right?
Yeah. So we can go in.
You didn't even hear.
Okay, the reason I did is because they said I would love for you to do a presentation for my students / parents regarding FAFSA. That would be an incredible blessing and you don't have to supply pizza. And I went ahead and called them and talked to them already. And they said that they would get with their administrator and then come back to me on Monday. And that's why I put it in qualifying, but I forgot to check the boxes.
So sweet. That is great. Perfect. So we just do that. The boxes are just basically like, it's like just a sanity check to make sure that we're good to go here. And so like you have a next step, which is to like give her a call, or did you put that in the contact record?
I did not. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Hey, look, we're all new to this. We're all getting you're all getting a grip on it, and it's a little more complex than the Google sheet, which is supposed to. And so it's totally cool that it just takes you a couple of rounds to just kind of get with it. But that's why like you see how it's just so important. And once you get it done, just like when you guys are planning your days. You should have this open. You should have your Gmail open. Basically, like while you're pounding out your calls or doing your outreach, so just make it so you can go back and forth and make sure that that it's done. So you gave her a call. Here she is, right? Diana, Diane? Is that who you talked to?
Yes, I think it's a guy.
Or a guy? Okay, cool. So we are going to we're going to go call. You left the voicemail.
No, I got to them and they said that they would talk to their administrator and email me on Monday if it was a go, but that they thought it would be a go.
Okay, cool. So now, so are you going to use Mixmax to remind yourself to ping them on Monday?
Yes, I went ahead and made a note. I have a journal where I put in all of the responses I got and I put to make sure to make a Mixmax reminder.
Great, cool, awesome. Mixmax is going to be your friend. All right, so let's go back. Okay, so we have another one here. This is proposing, cool. Same deal. They emailed you saying that they were definitely interested and they want to move forward.
Hold on. Yeah, this person I already got back to and I emailed back, so I'm waiting for a response.
Great, cool. So but she was like, all right, cool. We can just look at it here, right? Hi, Madeline. Would like to learn more about 30-minute presentations. Let me know what month you're thinking, and I'm free to chat further. Okay, cool. So this is like firmly in the proposing phase. Great, awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. But you guys see how like what we're covering here was just making sure that we're all on the same page, like we're all rocking and rolling. We're diving into a lot of them now because it's the first one of these that we're doing. But I want us to make sure that like you're aware of the things that we're looking for once we're like really like moving and grooving. So Madeline, uno más. So here's a great example, just to pause on this. So here there's this weird tilde. Is that accurate?
That's accurate, but I think they just call it Animo High. But I didn't go ahead and
cool. So we'll do that. So it's like, so what's the short name for this? Animo High. Cool. Great. Cool. So we got a FAFSA workshop. So call up voicemail. Awesome. Great. Proposing. Phenomenal. So receive FAFSA must be. Great. Cool. Awesome. We got a doggy. Oh, it's making my dog nuts. It's great. It's really funny. Okay, cool. Here we go. So Paso with Outlaws Senior High School. All right, cool. So what is the deal here? Hey.
I need to pull this. The school without borders. It's someone I just entered. Let me pull it up. Come on.
But this is clear. Follow up in August. Finalize a date for September.
Yeah, they just said that they're interested, but they won't get their calendar until August.
Okay,
Voting
no.
session in September.
Got it. But you put a reminder in for Mix Max to do that.
Yes.
Cool. Do you know how to do that?
Yeah, it just says the remind on top.
Awesome. Cool. Let's go back. Pipeline. Cool. All right. So let's kind of skip around here.
I have a question.
Yes. Shoot.
So today I received a response from a lady who is the superintendent of 46 school districts, and we had her in our list. So she's not actually a counselor.
Yeah.
But she asked us this, and I haven't responded because I wanted to know what you guys thought. She said, would we be interested in sponsoring lunch at a professional development program for 60 parent coordinators and parent leaders in September?
I would say that is a big fat yes. And what I would do is I would respond to her and say, I'd say, that sounds fascinating. I've CC'd our CEO, Kelly, to make, because that feels like it's more of a her thing as opposed to if she's going to go to talk more about who the best person should be to go and do that.
Okay.
So that's how I would respond, and yeah.
Got it.
And then have Kelly pick the ball up. So the email that we have for Kelly there is kelly.peeler, which is just a made up alias that points to her LinkedIn. So when people do research on her, they can do it, but her inbox doesn't get cluttered up. So make sure that you have the right Kelly at NextGen.cc.
Okay, I'm sure I have to have it on my other email account.
Cool. All right. Booking. So let's talk parent night, seniors during homeroom 8.
They have 8 homerooms, and they want us to go to each homeroom.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, cool. So phenomenal. So assigning financial aid worker. Hey man, Texas is coming through. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Texas Academy of Biomedical.
Yes.
Great, cool. So now you see how this works off here, where you have all these workshop opportunities. That's phenomenal. Whoa, we got 33 of these?
Yeah. That's why I said I'm up to 50 now.
Wow.
Because of this freaking school.
That's crazy.
Whoa. Okay. That is awesome. Wow. Okay, so Erica struck oil on that one. Awesome. Okay, basically, that's phenomenal. That is so fucking cool. All right, great. Wow. Okay, so you just booked that's banana pants. I thought George hit the home run. No offense, George. I thought George hit the home run last time. It was why is it only showing 12 if you got 30 in there?
I don't know. I'm still fixing it. I was uploading it during the beginning of the call before Madeline joined. So it might not have gotten through yet.
I don't think so.
This thing is quite instantaneous.
You're quite instantaneous.
Yeah, so we got okay, getting feisty. All right. Opportunity name, FAFSA parent night. Why isn't this
next page?
Right.
Oh my gosh. No. You still work for this?
Oh, how far out are these?
Oh, the leadership activities one for the sophomores and freshmen, that's all the way until October.
Oh, that's why. Okay, cool. So what we did here was, so I'll just make this for, there we go. Look at you, Nancy
There you
Drew. Holy shit. That's great. Okay, cool.
Okay. At least mine are booked.
Yeah.
I get a pick every date I want.
All right. But you got, yeah. So now, like, you got a lot here on the plate where Erica, like, you got to push these guys to close. So what's gonna get Texas Academy over the goal line?
We just need to have a person and pick whatever date.
So-
What city is it in?
No point. Fort Worth?
No.
Fort Worth.
Hold on. Just
I'm
on
pulling up
Google
the
it.
school. Yeah, it's Fort Worth.
We have 0 people there right now.
Yep.
So we need to have at least 8 before we can pick a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they are good to do this for all their homerooms. What we got to do is, because this is a big one, Erica. So we got to find a date that works for them. Is that the next step?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And who's your point of contact?
Sandra Munoz.
Great.
Let's see. And
There's no Anya. So I'm saying it's Sandra Munoz. There's no Anya.
there's an alt code for that. I think 0124.
Okay, cool.
There's no Anya.
Great.
My laptop touchscreen. Stop touching it.
Yeah.
You got 30 books, Erica. That's crazy. Sorry, I just blew my mind there. All right, awesome. So, okay, phenomenal. All right, so just stay on it. We're going to talk about that throughout the week to make sure that we're good. Obviously, Paramjot or whoever needs to be looped in to get the training done. Is that her job?
Yes. Celine and Pramja are both working on recruiting and onboarding.
Okie dokie.
Okay, I have another question. I have one person named James Rodriguez who responded, and they have a high school that's 5 schools put together, and they want us to come to their workshop and a tabling workshop for 4 hours in September on the 27th. So if we have people in New York, I could get that booked.
Oh, we have
And there's gonna be 500.
3 or 4 people up
Yeah.
there.
New York is always gonna be fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool. Book that bad boy. Yeah. Ask them. I'm not 100% sure what the ask is there. So, like, it'll be working a table event.
Yeah, it's from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. and there's going to be 500 seniors, so we might need more than one person there.
Oh, I would
you'll
love to
definitely
do
need
that.
Okay, cool. So book that bad boy.
Okay.
Lock that one up.
I think I
That's
already
awesome.
set up the date on it. Okay, good.
Yeah, phenomenal. You guys are fucking crushing it. This is awesome. This is so cool. All right, run this report. Let's go. All right, so the booked. So George, you got these 4 ones booked up. This is great. Breakthrough Houston. Looks like they got a bunch of different workshops here, which is awesome, and they're all committed. So this means like they've definitely they've accepted the invite. And we just need to go and assign people to it.
Yep.
Great, phenomenal, guys. You guys should pat yourselves on the back. Like, this is a lot of coordination that got done. This is awesome. So I cannot believe that we've already got like this many bookings going on.
Number 1 CT team. Oh wait, that's repetitive. Coordination team.
Yeah.
Team. Oh well. We're so good. We get to say team twice.
My emails are purple. What do I do? No, like I'm looking good.
Purple.
Oh yeah, I get
Some
that too
of my
sometimes.
emails are like the text is not consistent, and then some of my email, like the message is purple.
It's sent in black, but like you're seeing it purple. That happens to me too.
Me too,
Okay.
sometimes.
It's usually if
Making
someone
sure.
replies, like everything in the thread turns purple.
Okay, I just want to make sure they're getting it
Okay,
right.
cool. All right, so let's talk about let's talk about Mixmax. So how is everybody feeling about using Mixmax?
I'm a ninja.
Good.
Feeling good. You guys, as far as like, you guys feel okay in terms of setting up sequences and how that like general flow works?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna finalize the templates So the like confirming commitment sequence. Who's I'm in George's here. Please sign in to view the page. Continue with Google.
Oh. I'm turn on the fan. It's really hot.
Yeah, I know.
Oh god.
Why are you looking at? Which leave it? Yeah, leave it at that one.
Is it loud? Where's the low setting? Oh,
That was the low setting.
All right, guys. We got limited time here. I got about 9 minutes left until I gotta peel out of here. Hold on a second. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to get instructions probably over the weekend. So given the fact, Erica, George, can you guys hear me? Can you see me? I don't see you guys on the screen. All right, cool. So next week is we can move back to me here. So next week is going to be when we kick off our outreach to LA and San Jose. So part of it is going to be, the strategy here is that we're going to have all three of you simultaneously hammering on each city as a way to maximize George's time while he's there. So the sequences you guys will put together will be just slightly different in ask. Like, so George is obviously going to say, hey, I'm George. I'll be in town XYZ date to XYZ date. Would you like to meet in person? Or I can get you more information via email, whatever. And then you guys are going to also be emailing people in LA and San Jose saying, hey, like, I'm so-and-so from Next Gen Vest. You know, our national director of partnerships is actually going to be in LA from this date to this date, and we'd love to know if you want to meet. If you want more information, let me know. Happy to send it to you. You know, sign Madeline, sign Erica. So it's basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep George's calendar as booked up as humanly possible while he's on the ground, so he's completely optimized. Does that make sense, guys? All right, cool. So so that's going to be the goal. So there's a few things we want to make sure that we have here, and George is going to do this to make sure that he's invited you to the travel calendar, and so that you have the ability to book. Actually, no, I think we decided we're not going to do that. So like we're going to create a protocol that follows, like, if somebody agrees to, you know, meet with George, you know, basically just CC him and say, okay, like, you and George can figure it out, and then George will manage his schedule to see like when he can get a time to meet in person. If not, if they just say, oh, I'm interested, send me more information, then you're just going to basically follow the same protocol as the way you reacted to any of these fast food pizza workshops, this like one touch, this one-off sequence that we did, where it's going to be your guys' like jobs to get back to them, give them the information, and try to book them over the phone. If you can book them over the phone, you're saving George a trip, right? You're saving George a trip, and it's just a smarter way to go, because there's, like, when we look at LA, you know, there's hundreds and hundreds of schools, and so you know, it's just, there just isn't enough time in the day for him to do it, nor is it economically reasonable. It's just, there's a lot of reasons why he shouldn't be on his feet all day. So with that said, so we'll get the cadences or the sequences approved. And then uploaded. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first shot at just creating the first one for you. We're going to do a different sequence by city. And so, like, on Monday, we're going to launch the LA and San Jose sequences. And, you know, the first one, like the LA one, like the dates will be for LA, San Jose, the dates will be for San Jose. You know, and we'll see. We can do, the great thing about Mixmax is because it has this like ability to send later feature, we can build all the sequences out like over the course of a week, or I can, or somebody can, and then we can just have them timed to launch 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out, so that we're not breaking our brains doing the same repetitive motion, you know, like, kind of, while we're on a roll, we should just do them all. So anyway, does that make sense? Yeah? Cool. So all the other piece to this is that we're going to have to start to some of these cities, we're going to have to start to find new leads. And that means like, because some of these cities have like 20 contacts in them from the field research. So there's going to be a part of this process where we are like hunting for new high schools. So the way that I've broken this out in Salesforce is that I've assigned you guys. I tried to assign you guys by city, and then I realized city really doesn't make sense. So I just assigned, because everybody should be attacking the same city at the same time. And so then I just assigned you by contact. So some of you guys will have, you'll never be working on the same contact, but you could be working on contacts within the same school. And so, the only thing that we're trying to make sure that we don't do is we don't like cross wires and have you guys both calling the same contact at the same school. So the idea is, again, to try to fan out and get as much coverage as possible when it comes to doing this outreach. Does that make sense? Cool. So the things in Mixmax that are going to be your friends are, one, these outreach cadences, these like initial touch points. The other thing that's going to be your friend is creating a reply sequence. So so I think Erica, and we touched on this, I think a few days ago, where we said, all right, create a sequence to, ask for the meeting and then hit 2 follow-ups. Did either of you guys, Erica or Madeline, were you able to create that?
I think so.
Let me check.
I just made mine for LA.
Okay, cool. Schedules. So post call booking practice. Is that what it's called?
I think so, but I know I made one called that for practice.
Oh, great. Okay, great. So you have your 3 stages here, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome, great. So that's great. Cool. That's great. Send an email. Great. So you see how it goes yellow here because the date has passed at this point. So it knows that 2 days, the date's already passed, so it's going to be old. So you're just going to need to know, like, it's very easy to do. So like to drop this sequence in, through Gmail, because what you're going to be doing one-offs. So semicolon, you'll see the sequence, and you'll drop them in. You'll have the ability to customize the first piece of it. And then what's really important is that it just automates the 2-ton follow-up. When you guys have that, we can actually do this here. So this is called post-booking practice. So as I'm saying, continue share. So post-booking practice. So what's really important, like what we talked about, is from a trustworthy experience, if she accepts the meeting invite while still in the sequence, we have to program the sequence so that it doesn't send her an additional inbox bump, right? Because that just looks really spammy, right? So what we do is there's this thing in here called rules. And rules are like, this is kind of like next level Mixmax. This is like you're feeling real stealthy. You're kind of confident on how you're using Mixmax. Rules do things just like that cover this exact problem. So let's see here, post-call booking practice. You should actually just run with this. So just make this like your sequence that you use, Madeline. And then you hit rules. And then we go into new rule. When meeting is confirmed.
Can you share your screen real quick?
Oh, geez, I'm so sorry.
No problem. You're still number 1.
Thank you. Thanks for it. At least I'm number 1 to you. That's all that matters. Okay. Okay, so if we're in Mixmax, come on, dummy. So we're in Mixmax, all right? We scroll down to this thing here called rules, right here. And then we have when Look for it. Look for it. A meeting is confirmed. Awesome. Then remove from a sequence. See how that does it? So this way there's no spamming. And then select the sequence. And the sequence here, what was it called? Post phone call booking?
Practice.
Where is that? Post phone call practice. Great, cool. And now you're going to save the rule. So the rule is now saved. Oh, enter a name for this rule. We're going to turn it on. Save. Meeting confirmed. Great. Cool.
Woo.
Awesome. Let me try to save. Great. Cool. So now you can use that sequence, Madeline, that you created when you've got the booking. You send them all that information, and so when you're in, let's see here if I can get into your email real quick. Cool. So let's say you had a great call with somebody. Let's just call it Ryan. Jay O'Connor plus Madeline. Great. And so what I'm going to do here is, instead of typing all this stuff, I'm literally just going to go colon, or semicolon rather. Sequences. Post call booking practice. And look at that. She's already dropped in. And then what it's going to show me is really important. If I scroll down, it shows me, okay, cool. It's going to send a follow-up on this date at 5:02 p.m. if no reply. Show follow this date, 5:02 p.m. if no reply. Great, cool. So here I can add any more customization. So Madeline, what you should do as a best practice here is, because this person's already in Salesforce, is use the Salesforce fields to your advantage. All right. So this way you can insert variables and just like make it even faster. Okay. So then you can put in whatever you need in here. Please click below when blah, blah, blah. You know, can you estimate number of students? You might want to like just optically just put a space in between this stuff. So like people like their eyes don't get so cluttered.
Right.
And then you just hit send, and guess what? Now I'm going to go to my inbox. There's Madeline Smith. Here she is. Hey, Mr. Smith. Thanks so much. Here it is. And I can just go and hit confirm. And then I'm automatically, if I hit confirm, then I'm automatically exited out of the sequence. So let's make sure. So like if we go into here, I mean, look at the sequences. She can see that she has, in this post voicemail follow-up, she's got sender. Oh, she sent it to somebody else. I guess let's see. Post. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Post booking practice. She sent it to me. Cool. Last sent on. Next stage. I opened it twice. Great. Cool. Sorry. I'm still active. So the thing here to look at. So Erica and George, just pay attention here. So this status active means that the person is still active in the sequence. This thing here, okay? So the status bar means I haven't replied and I haven't confirmed the meeting. So when I go in to my account and I go, yeah, you know what? I'll do that. That sounds good. Cool. Great. Awesome. Sounds good. You've accepted this invitation. Awesome. Thank you. Moving on. Now let's go back to this and see the status. The status now says exited, which means I'm out of the sequence. So I'm not going to get those follow-up bumps because I confirmed the meeting. You see how that rule works? So play with rules and get cozy with it. So any questions there? Cool. Just while we're on this subject of post-booking call practice, if we want to talk about stages here, you wanna make sure that this here is an actual booking event date. So you have just meeting out every time, right? What you're sending them an invitation to a booked workshop, right? This is the workshop invitation. This is like, hey, you want to do FAST 101 on September 9th? That's great. Here is the invitation to September 9th. Please accept it. And then we'll get in touch with you like 2 weeks out and then 2 days out to make sure that we're all good. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Great. Okay, guys. We are a little over time, and I've got the split. Do you guys have any questions right now?
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Oh, okay. One of my schools, I don't know if this is a duplicate in the spreadsheet, but it's assigned. There's two versions. One where one is all caps and one where it's just regular. But it's assigned to me and George.
Okay. Is the contact assigned to you and George?
No, it's two different ones.
Yeah, it's two different people, but I had them reply to me.
This one is charter, the other one isn't.
Okay, never mind then. I thought they were at the same school.
Cool. When you see that, it's all caps, and you see that difference. So there are going to be duplicate accounts in there because candidly, the data was just really bad. So the data was bad, and so we're gonna have duplicate accounts, and I just need to go in there and clean that up. But that's just how it needs to be. The really important thing is that you guys don't have the same contacts. You're not both like hitting the same person up, which you've avoided in this situation. So that's the one thing I can say with assurance is that like you're not going to be hitting up the same person. Just like you might be hitting up again the same account and multiple people within that account is possible. But it's like we want it like we just want to make sure you're not going after the same like individual.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Two quick questions. Do you want me to share my calendar with them right now, or wait for Kelly approval?
You gotta wait for Kelly's approval on the calendar.
Okay. After that, it's did she tell you what time we're supposed to have another meeting, or is it just wait and see what happens?
What was that last question?
Did she mention what time we're gonna have another meeting, or is it just wait and see what happens?
We have to wait and see what happens. The ball's in her court, so we're figuring out like where I play in this. You know, who's gonna like? Does she take it over? Does somebody else take it over? So like we're trying to like we have a little bit of like we're trying to coordinate some stuff on our end. He is ultimately like the decider here. So I sent her a note letting her know that like we have to at a drop dead date get our outreach going on Monday. So I think for this first round of sequences, just to make sure that they're done, like they're just created well, you guys will do the actual outreach. I will just get the cadences set up. So it kind of runs itself from that standpoint, and there's no kind of room for error. You guys are smart, you guys are great, but I've been doing this for a while, and so like I can just catch things I can just be faster at it. So so on Monday we're going to plan to start our outreach to Los Angeles and to San Jose.
Okay.
Keep your eyes peeled for emails over the weekend. There might be updates here and then, but be really comfortable creating your own sequences and understanding like how those work. So Madeline, you have your webhook set up for that very specific sequence. So it doesn't impact all sequences. It's just that specific post call follow up where there's an invite. Yeah. And so that has to be done for every sequence that you do. So just as a heads up. But if you guys have questions, keep emailing me, letting me know. Otherwise, you guys had a great first week. I mean, we got like I don't know how many bookings. Like this is nuts. Like this is great. I couldn't be more pleased with the way that this is.
That's sandbolts.
This has just been going. So now we want to replicate this. I want to hammer this now.
Right now we have to double it next week.
Oh, you will. Yeah, I mean, you will.
Yeah,
Like,
we have
I have no doubt in my mind. This is 50 workshops. We have 50 workshops booked. How many in the booking? If we can get these actually booked, but keep in mind we only have 5 booked, but we've got like a ton in the booking phase and a ton in the proposal and a great amount of proposal phase.
Yeah, like all we need is just to have at least one fall there, and then we can book them.
So guys, you guys are doing great. So let's make sure we keep the momentum up and keep using Mixmax to make sure that you're not dropping any of these balls. So you can see, like with all these workshops, you know, things can kind of get crazy fast. So have a great weekend. Relax. You guys earned it. Just keep your eyes peeled for an email from me or Kelly on how we're gonna roll things out on Monday. All right.
All right. Keep our eyes peeled.
Bravo. Excellent job.
All right.
All right.
Ciao, everyone. We gotta keep our eyes peeled.